Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Will and welcome to my channel where I go over travel reward credit cards and travel. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the Citi Prestige card because with the release of the new Citi custom cash card, I've gotten a little bit more interested in seeing what a Citi setup could possibly do. So this video, we're gonna go over the Citi Prestige card, and then in some later videos, we're going to go over to see how a full Citi setup is going to work and compare it to, say, Chase and Amex and see which one is really better. Now, be sure to hit that little red subscribe button for more videos, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the Prestige card has an annual fee of $495, which doesn't really seem that crazy when you look at its competitors, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which has an annual fee of $550, and the Amex Platinum, which also has that $550 annual fee, with rumors of going up to over $650, closer to $700 sometime this year. They're just rumors right now, but when you look at the Citi Prestige's $495, that doesn't seem too bad. Now, the benefits that you get with it are we'll see. We'll see. So the first one is going to be the sign-up bonus. So right now at the time of this video, the sign-up bonus is 50,000 thank you points once you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months. Now, if you were to value these thank you points at, say, 1.5 cents per point valuation, that's going to be about a $750 redemption value when you use them for travel. Now, if you're new to this whole travel credit card game and you're not sure how we value these hotel points or airline miles, I'm going to throw up a slide on the screen for just a few seconds, pause it, read through it, and then we'll jump in on the other side. So as you can see, the valuation can definitely vary depending on what type of redemption that you're doing with your points or miles. So if you're doing something more expensive, like a first class ticket to Europe, well, that point valuation is definitely going to be higher than this 1.5 cents per point. But if you're doing just a domestic flight or maybe a lower end hotel type redemption, well, you're probably going to be looking at that 1.2 to 1.5 cents per point valuation. So this valuation of 1.5 is really just kind of, something that's a little bit conservative as to what you can expect to get with your points when you use them for travel. Now, when it comes to the Citi sign-up bonuses, there is some fine print that you need to be aware of when applying for this card. So if you were to go to the Citi Prestige's website or any of the Citi travel credit cards websites and look at the bonus offer, you'll see some very small font at the very bottom, and it reads, if you've picked up a Citi Rewards, a Citi Thank You Preferred, or a Citi Thank You Premier, or a Citi Prestige card in the past 24 months when you're trying to apply for this card, you're not going to be eligible for this sign-up bonus. So it's a 24-month rule, so just something to be aware of when you're actually applying. Now let's go and jump into these benefits, and I'll go through some of them kind of quickly because we'll discuss them a little bit later on in this video when I go over a spreadsheet that I use to see how much value that I get with it in my first year and second year onward. So the first set of benefits is going to be the amount of points that you actually earn with your spend. So you're gonna get 5x back at restaurants, 5x back on air travel, 3x back at hotels, and then 3x back at cruise lines. So the 5x back at restaurants is really, really good. In fact, it's the highest that you can get for a travel rewards credit card. The Amex Gold gives you 3 or 4x back, and then the Chase Sapphire Reserve and the Chase Freedom only give you 3x back. So getting 5x back is definitely a nice little benefit. And same with air travel, that's also pretty good with 5x back. Now the next benefit is going to be that $250 travel credit that you get every calendar year. So when we say calendar year, that means you'll be able to use this benefit twice in your first year. So you pay one annual fee, you'll get 2 times the travel credits just in your first year though. So definitely something to keep in mind. And travel is very, very broad for Citi. So it pretty much covers anything related to travel really. Think your airline ticket, hotel, if you had to do a cruise, you have to get a taxi, Ubers, subways, parking garages, all that is covered under the travel category for Citi. So definitely a nice little perk. And until the end of 2021, they're actually extending this out to include supermarkets and restaurants as well. So if you are watching this sometime in like 2022 and forward, well, that benefit is not going to be there. You'll just have the regular travel credit, but it is a pretty solid credit to have. Now, the next benefit and the main benefit that people are probably looking at when getting this card is going to be that complimentary 4th night hotel stay. So I have a little bit more to say about this benefit later when I go through the spreadsheet, but just a few things you need to know on how it works. So pretty much once you stay 4 nights or more, they're going to take an average of your nightly rate and they're going to reimburse you for that average. So it's pretty good when you think about it that way, but you can only use it twice per year. So just keep that in mind. It's not gonna be every time you stay in a hotel. Now you do have to book your hotel through the Thank You portal. So there's a couple things you have to keep in mind when you do that. Make sure that the prices on the Thank You portal look reasonable compared to other websites like Expedia, Travelocity, even the hotel's own website, to make sure you're not getting a ripoff on the Thank You portal. Now, I know I read an article a few years ago where they compared, say, the Thank You portal, the Chase Travel portal, and the Amex portal's prices to just directly to the hotel prices. And they found that the prices were pretty much on par. Sometimes it's cheaper through the Thank You portal, or sometimes it can be a little bit more expensive. But for the most part, they were on par. But just make sure you do your due diligence when you're actually booking your hotel this way. The next thing you need to know about this benefit is when you're booking through the Thank You portal, you're actually not going to be able to collect points when you stay at that hotel, and you're going to lose your elite status benefits. So just something to keep in mind, just to make sure it's really worth, giving up those benefits and those points for that 4th night free. So just another little thing you have to worry about. The next benefit that we have with this card is going to be their Priority Pass Airport Lounge access. So you'll get access to the biggest network of airport lounges in the world. So thousands and thousands of airport lounges. So a nice little benefit here. And if you add an authorized user, they'll also get membership to this as well. So to add an authorized user is $75 per year. So just keep that in mind. And then with this benefit, you'll be able to bring in your immediate family at no additional cost. And if you're traveling with anybody else besides your immediate family, you'll be able to bring up to 2 guests. Next, we have the $100 global entry or TSA pre-check credit, which you get every 4 years, which makes perfect sense because you don't need to renew these things every year. They do last 4 or 5 years. So every 4 or 5 years for this credit makes perfect sense. And then we have some other benefits here as well. So you do get cell phone coverage, which covers theft and damage for up to 5 lines if you're using this card to pay for your phone bill. So definitely a nice little benefit here. You get purchase extended warranty protection of 2 years. So once the manufacturer warranty expires, usually after that 1st year, you'll get an additional 2 years on top of that with this card. So very generous. And then you get purchase protection, which covers theft and damage on all purchases for up to 90 days. So definitely nice little benefits here with these little non-travel related benefits that the card gives you. And finally, we have the Citi Transfer Partners, and they have a pretty nice lineup. So they have about 15 partners right now. All of them are airlines. They don't have any hotels. That's the only kind of downside, but it makes sense considering that, Hyatt is with Chase, and then Marriott and Hilton are pretty much with Amex. But these, airline transfer partners are pretty solid. You have Air France, Virgin Atlantic, Turkish, Singapore, Cathay Pacific, Avianca, JetBlue. So you have a lot of options if you're trying to fly either domestic or anywhere internationally with this set of transfer partners. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this spreadsheet. So this is a spreadsheet I've been using for a long time now, and it's been a while since I've actually used it, but it's pretty straightforward, and I'll have a copy down in the description below if you want to download it for yourself. Just click on the link and then go up here to File, and then you can either make a copy to your own Google Drive or you can download it in the Excel format. And it's pretty straightforward. So you want to fill out all these green little cells here. So the first one is going to be asking if you're going to want to add any authorized users. So for me personally, I'm not going to add any. So I'll keep that at 0. But if I were to say just put 1, you'll see that it'll just calculate that at 75. Now, going into our next section here, we have our monthly spend. So I just kind of pre-populated some categories I think most people are putting their money in every month, but there are a couple of rows where you can add your own if you want to do so. And then it's pretty straightforward. I put in my monthly spend pretty much just for restaurants because the way that I'm looking at this is if this is the only Citi credit card that I have. And this is probably the only category that I'll use it for to get that 5X back. I wouldn't use it for any of these other categories like my phone bill or paying gas for my car or anything like that. Just strictly restaurants. So 450 in that and multiplies by that 5, and you see the monthly and the annual point total that you'll earn with that spend. Now, if you come down towards the bottom of this section here, if this is your first year, you can go ahead and enter in what the current sign-up bonus is. So again, right now it's 50,000 points. And then right below that, I do have a point adjustment. So what this is doing is taking into consideration on whether or not you're going to pick up any other credit cards that year. Because if you are, you're probably going to take some of that spend that you would normally put on this card and put it towards those cards in order to hit the sign up bonus. So here you can select how many months you think you'll probably going to end up, not using this card. So for say, if you're gonna maybe pick up 2 other credit cards this year or in the year that you get the Citi Prestige card, that's probably gonna be about 4, maybe 6 months where you're not going to be able to put any spend on this card. So you can select how many months. So I'll just do 4 just for the heck of it. And you can see that my points get adjusted by 9,000. And then below that, you have your total annual points. Now, jumping into the next section, these are going to be the benefits that we talked about earlier. So we're going to put a value to see how much these things are really worth. So the first one is going to be that priority pass lounge access. Now, for me personally, I wouldn't value it with this card, and that's because I already have the benefit on a couple of other cards, my Chase Sapphire Reserve and my Amex Platinum. But if I were to value this for this card, the way that I would think about it is, how often am I going to be traveling? And then some of the perks that you get with this lounge include free food, free alcohol, free coffee, water, juices, comfortable seating, free internet. So those are some of the things that you want to think about. So for me personally, the last time I stayed in the lounge was when I went to Hawaii a few months ago. We were in the lounge for a couple of hours. We used our internet, had some pretty good seating, drinks, food. So I would probably value that, I don't know, about $20, $25 for that time that we spent there, maybe even more, because we did eat and drink quite a bit. So if I were to, kind of think about how many times I would do that per year, we're looking at maybe $75 to $100 worth of value with just the priority pass lounge access. The next benefit that we have is going to be that travel credit of $250 per calendar year. Now, I don't even give you the option to opt out of this one, because if you're getting this card, you better use this benefit. The only thing I give you an option for is to determine whether or not this is your first year or not, because like I said earlier, you do get to use this twice in your first year because it is a calendar year event. Now, if you use it after your second year, it's just gonna be one time per annual fee that you're paying. So that's what this box here is doing. If you select yes or no, it's changing between $500 and $250. Next, we have that global entry or TSA pre-check credit of $100 every 4 years. Now, I'm just gonna put 0 in here for me because I already have global entry and I already have a lot of credit cards that have this benefit as well. So I'm not sure if I would assign that value to this card either way. But if this is your only credit card that you have that has this benefit, then feel free to throw in that $100. But just realize when you go into your second year, this is not gonna be a benefit that you have, because again, you're not gonna need to use it in order to actually renew, because you only have to renew these 2 things every 4 years. And finally, we had that free 4th night at a hotel. Now, this one is going to take a little bit of thought on your part, but I'll go through my own personal thinking and how I value this to help you guys determine whether or not it's going to be worth it for you. So when I'm staying at a hotel, the first thing I tend to go for is to use points, because I want to stay at the best hotel that I can with a terrific point value. So that's what I'm usually going for. I'm not necessarily trying to pay cash if I can help it. But say I don't have any points and I do have to use cash, well, I'm probably not going to spend that much in cash for my hotel. Again, I'm going to be looking for, special deals, something relatively cheaper, $150, $200, $250, maybe a little bit more if it's like an all-inclusive hotel. That's just based on, me and my wife's budget and how we like to spend our money. So, you had to really think about what would I typically pay for in cash, without having to go out of my way just to take advantage of this benefit, because that's not what you want to do with any credit card, to be real. You don't want to spend money just to, take advantage of these benefits. You want to make sure you spend money like you normally would, and hopefully the benefits help you out enough to cover the annual fees. So for me, again, I'm using points first, and then I'm looking at cheaper hotels or even Airbnbs. Me and my wife love to stay at Airbnbs. Now, another thing that I think about is, how long do I typically even stay in a hotel? Because 4 nights is it's kind of a long time for my wife and I. Say for our upcoming trip to Japan next year, we're gonna be gone for like 10 days. And I'm pretty sure we're not gonna stay in any hotel for 4 nights, because we're gonna be moving around. We're gonna be going to different cities, different hotels in the city just to experience it. So we're not those type of people who typically stay in a hotel for that long anyway. So it's something else that you may want to think about as well. But for me personally, if I were to give this benefit a value, it will probably be maybe $150 to $200 per stay, just to be a little conservative. And even that, I don't know. I just don't know, because again, using cash is not my priority when I'm using points, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and assign it a value of $300, but that's still kind of up in the air, to be honest. All right, so this next section is going to be the point redemption section. So this section just kind of goes over, how much value that you get with the points that you earn in that first section that we went over. So you got three different options here. You have the thank you travel portal. If you were to use your points on there, you can use your points at a 1 cent per point valuation. It's fine if it's something that you really can't get around, but I would definitely prefer you not to do that. But if you have to, feel free to do so. Then you have your travel partners. So this is that 1.5 cents per point valuation that we talked about earlier when we were going over the sign-up bonus. So this is where you transfer your points out to one of the airlines to get a higher redemption value than that 1 cent per point. And then you have your own personal valuation option here. So if you're an experienced credit card point user, maybe you have some experience with some of those transfer partners with Citi, then you can put in your own valuation to see how much it's going to be worth it for you. Now, when you're doing this section, just make sure you put an X in only one of these boxes here, just to make sure that you don't, overvalue how much you're getting with this card. And then we have those other little benefits that I talked about, such as the cell phone protection, the warranty, and the purchase protection. Now, I personally don't know how to value that, and they're not really, big game changers when it comes to the valuation and determining whether or not I want to get this card. So I left them off of here, but feel free to make your own edits to the spreadsheet and add those if you think you can value that stuff. All right, so we're at the end. You can see before the annual fee, I'm getting about $1,800 worth of value with this card. But when you include the annual fee, it comes back down to $1,325. So not too bad in my first year, but the first year does have a lot of additional benefits that you normally wouldn't get in your second. So if you go to the second year, you got to remove that annual or that sign-up bonus. You got to remove that additional travel credit that you get. So when you remove those two things and keep the same amount of spend, you're looking at about $325 worth of value with this card in that second year. So a huge drop in terms of value. And that's okay, I guess. I mean, when you look at the return on your investment, that's about 65% return on your investment. So it's actually pretty good when you think about it that way. But $325 is really nothing I would get too excited about after paying, $500 for this credit card. So we got to see how this card is going to play out when we add it to some other Citi cards like the new Citi Custom Cash card or even the Citi Double Cash card, so we can get more points with our spend. But just by itself, it's kind of okay. And again, the main benefit is that free fourth night that you get. If you're someone that can spend a lot of money on a hotel and then that fourth night free is going to come out looking great, especially since you get it twice per year. But at the same time, I think if you're someone that's can pay so much for a hotel, you probably wouldn't even care about getting that, little bit of money back, in my opinion. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do. But yeah, that is a Citi Prestige card, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about it. And be sure to smash that like button to help the video out. Help me out a lot, and I would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.